I remember back in 2019, before I realized that you could make money blogging, it sounded like this foreign concept. I'm like, what do you actually mean? No, I have to work with patients to make money. I have to work a real job to make money. So yeah, let's kind of talk about that.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I have a repeat offender coming on today. I have Katie Dodd. And Katie, first of all, thank you so much for being on a Secrets for Success again.
Thanks for having me.
And today, Katie, I really want to actually expand on something that I've talked about recently. It's actually probably one of my better YouTube videos with regards to response that I've had since I've returned back on YouTube. And that is the idea that working more hours is probably not going to get you to your goals. Do this instead. And this that I was talking about is I truly believe it's in people's best interest to build some type of asset, right? Instead, because it now allows you to leverage yourself. So, with that said, as I've had people reach out to me, well, what type of assets? You know, most people think of assets as real estate, this, that, commercial property, and that's unattainable for most people present day. But one of the assets that's not unattainable for people is building digital assets. And namely what it is that I would like to talk about with you today, which is blogging, and how you can actually make money and generate income through the process of blogging. So, Katie, you're kind of like the poster child in healthcare for this. Can you talk about this a bit for those that are really new to this whole idea of how would I actually make money blogging? What? Like, it doesn't even make sense to people. So can you talk about this?
Yes, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about. I remember back in 2019, before I realized that you could make money blogging, it sounded like this foreign concept. I'm like, what do you actually mean? No, I have to work with patients to make money. I have to work a real job to make money. So yeah, let's kind of talk about that. And I do also want to kind of follow up to what you mentioned before about like the time that we work to make money is different, especially in entrepreneurship. And I'll share a little bit more about the numbers of hours that I work because I think that's helpful for people to hear. So
Mhm.
a blog, I always talk about a blog. It's your online office. We think about
Mhm.
historically, if you wanted to have a practice where you were making money as a healthcare professional back before the internet days, you had an office. People would come to your office and that is how you made money. But we are so lucky to be alive at this day and age where we have access to the internet. And your website and a blog is a part of your website. That is now our online office. So when I'm talking about blogging, I'm talking about a website with a blog on it. A blog drives traffic. I will say I do use the term website and blog interchangeably. So when I say my blog, I'm talking about my website, which has a blog on it. A blog is simply where I put out articles. People are searching things on Google. I do my search engine optimization right. It brings people to my website and I get massive traffic. So the blog is simply my online office. It is my home base for business. And the beautiful thing about my blog is now that I have traffic coming to it because of the strategy that I use, how I build the website, lots of moving pieces. But once done right, this is a platform where you could make multiple streams of income, both active income and passive income. Now, I will say I knew early on in my entrepreneur game that I did not want to work with clients one on one, which is why I love blogging. Because you
Mhm.
don't have to. You certainly can. If you're someone you're like, I work with clients, the blog is a way to bring in more traffic, but then also a way to create additional streams of income because honestly, the more streams of income we have, the more solid our business is over time because we know that, something could be going really strong for a while. The economy shifts, things change. Okay, that stream's drying up a little bit. Good thing I have multiple streams of income to leverage.
Right.
So I'll share with my blog. And my primary blog is called The Geriatric Dietitian. I am a geriatric dietitian in practice, and that was my first blog I started in 2019. And so with that blog, I knew again I didn't want to work with clients. So I primarily make money through 5 different ways. Ad revenue. This means that when people come to the website, they see ads on my website and I make money. Amazon affiliates. People click on links where I'm recommending a product or something that I'm already recommending anyways. I get a commission.
And you're
And
primarily doing that through the blog. You're
yes,
primarily doing that through the blog, right? Okay. Yeah.
through the blog.
Mm-hmm.
Also through digital goods. And so this could be like workbooks, handouts, resources that provide value, ebooks, and print on demand books through Amazon. So essentially making money through books. And then
Mm-hmm.
also courses where I record something, one and done. Someone could buy it. They get access to me teaching them a concept. They get handouts, resources in that product. But those are the 5 main ways that I make money through my blog. And the cool thing is that they are all passive. I create things one and done. And even if I'm not active in the blog, it is making money for me, which is so lovely. I honestly haven't touched my blog in a while, like months. But this
Mm-hmm.
blog still makes thousands of dollars every month, and I am not actively working in it. So it is passive streams of income. But I want to
Yeah.
mention oh, go ahead.
Well, I think that there's like a few different groups of people, right? And I want to go back, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
to you making this decision. Like, I don't want to really work with more patients. Your prior life was working with patients, right? You were a dietitian for 14 years. Is that correct?
I think it was 13 years before I left my job. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So 13 years. And during that time, you were working with patients, correct?
Yep.
Right. And so, I think it'd be kind of cool before we go into the second aspect of it, is I know there's a lot of people. It's not just dietitians that are listening to SFS, but there's there's physical therapists, there's occupational therapists, there's chiropractors, there's nurse practitioners, speech therapists, and they are basically doing solo work, right? Either they're working for a company or they're working for themselves, and they kind of see the writing on the wall very similar to you. And I would like for you to talk about like your epiphany of why you didn't want to work at patients anymore. Because I feel like a lot of people are kind of like I'll work at patients, or maybe I don't want to work at patients at all, but they realize that they're never going to get to the goals, the desires, the dreams that they have if they only work with patients because they're so condensed on time, right? Because we can't create any more time. What was your reason for it?
So my reason, I worked at the VA doing home care. So I worked with patients in my full-time job and I didn't want to work with them outside of it. And I will tell you my primary reason maybe is different from other people, but I think some people listening, they're like 100% agree. I'm a bit of an introvert. The idea of even calling patients to schedule visits stresses me out to no end.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
was really just more my personality type that, I got into this field to become a dietitian. At this point, it's too late in the game to change things. I'm like all in, or, that's
Mm-hmm.
how I felt at the time. But what I realized is that I didn't entirely love working with clients. It's not that I didn't love the patients, it's just that I got so much anxiety about it. The idea of scheduling
Mm,
patients, the idea of calling and talking to patients, and even the idea, this sounds silly, but even my anxiety would get to me of like, what if they ask me something I don't know? I am good at what I do, but all this anxiety would build up, and it
mm,
really wasn't something I enjoyed doing. But I felt like,
yeah.
well, I'm a dietitian. I went to school. I paid all the big bucks to become a dietitian. This is what I have to do. And I found this like there was this alignment that was missing where I'm working with clients but I'm not loving it. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? But what I realize is that there's a million ways for us to serve people and provide value, and we don't have to work with clients. Now, I will say an answer for a lot of people is that working with clients one on one is trading time for money. We only have so much time in the day, and it does lead to burnout. And even when I talk to different healthcare professionals who love humans, are like, I could work with clients all day. Eventually, at some point, they're like, I'm tired of this. I need something else to where I could still make money without having to work with clients. I want more streams of income.
Yeah, I've heard it said like this before. Winning is more fun than fun is fun. And so I guess what I mean by this in this conversation is that even if you really love uh being with people and you're energized at being with people, everybody wants to be in a position where they can win, right? Where they can win, not just win with getting the outcome for a client, but also you can win getting the outcome for yourself, right? You can pay your bills. You can do more than just get by and pay your bills. You can, if you decide that you want to, grow a family, or you want to have a community of people that you can, like, all these things are, it takes energy in the form of resources, this, that, money, etc. And so I think everybody just wants to be in a situation where they can win. They can win at life. They can win with, I don't have to work every single waking hour in order to get by, and so yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that, quite often. I'm seeing those groups of people that are like, I actually enjoy this. I enjoy working with clients, but I don't see any way of winning with this anymore. And so that's interesting that you say that. I think there's those groups of people. Okay, now I think that's important for us to talk about, because I think a lot of people are sitting there processing, what they're feeling, and almost feeling guilty for maybe doing something in a different way than the way that they were trained and indoctrinated that they must do it through school. Would you agree?
100%. And I think that's where I was. I think, the conversation of like, I didn't like working with clients. I would have never said that 5 years ago because there
Right.
was this level of shame of like, well, no, this is the path I chose. But when I look at, most of us, when we picked a major in school, we had no idea what that really meant. Most of
Right.
us, our
Yeah.
brains weren't even fully developed yet. But at this point, we committed all this time, all this money, and we're at this stage of the game. We're like, well, I guess this is what I'm in for the rest of my life. But one thing I kind of do want to throw in there, because I say that working with clients gave me anxiety, but I've shifted a lot in my business model, and I work with clients, but it's more through like business coaching, and I
Right.
love it. I mean, you know this, Greg. I love being
Right.
around humans. I love being in teams. I love helping people, building them up. But what I'm doing working with people now is so different than working with clients and navigating, diets and nutrition and all that stuff. So I think so much of it is finding I don't want to say the word job, a career, a life calling, finding something that you love and aligns with your personality, and essentially finding like what you were put on this earth to do. And I feel
Yeah.
complete alignment with what I'm doing now. I love what I do, where before I just, again, that disconnect, things weren't aligning right, and I felt like, well, gosh, I'm a dietitian, this is what I got to do. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think here, what, I'm going to give you a recommendation of a book that I'm currently reading right now. It's from a guy named Ali Abdal, and it's called Feel Good Productivity. Have you heard of this
Have
before?
not.
Okay. This is literally what you're talking about right now. It is when you are doing stuff, when you're doing stuff that feels good to you, it's actually quite easy to show up and be productive. It really isn't that hard, right? Um, I've heard it said before. What was hard, like when there's something that's hard for everyone but is easy for you, that's the thing that you should be doing. And then there's things that are just easy for you, but it's hard for everybody else. So, like, for what you're doing right now, it feels easy, it feels effortless, it feels like play, it feels like fun. And those are the things that you have the highest probability of becoming really, really, really good at. And because it feels like fun, it doesn't feel like a lot of work, right? When you're helping the clients that you're helping right now. But sometimes there's just groups of people that, even though they're people, like, you just don't feel like you're called, or that you feel like it's so easy to work with those people. That's it, right? Like, I love people. I just like you, Katie, and obviously we work together, and you know how much I love, my people, and I know how much you love your people. But I love the thing that I'm doing with people. Okay, I was just at the tax collector's office with my daughter getting her permit. So my youngest daughter just got her permit today as we're recording this, and I found myself quite irritated because I'm hearing people complain about all their problems as they're going up to the front desk person to get their ticket so they can wait in line. And I'm like, oh God, people can be so draining. But those people can be draining. Maybe for that person, she loves that or he loves that. But we have the thing that we love. And I think it's just important that as you all are listening to this podcast episode, I think it's important for you to identify, hey, like, are you that? Are you like, look, right now, what I'm doing, either A, I love what I do, but I don't feel like I can win with it. Then I really think that what Katie is talking about with using digital property, in this case, your digital home base or as your office base, I think this is a really good alternative. I think for some of you, you're like, hey, you know what? I feel like I was told I needed to do this. I didn't fully understand what I was signing up for. I have been doing it, but I've been doing it reluctantly. You might not just have found the best way for you to monetize and for you to execute out the gifts that you have. There are alternative ways. So I hope you guys are listening to this because I think this is really important. Now, Katie, let's talk about the business owner. You know, the business owner who is like, look, like, yes, I'm feeling those two scenarios you guys just talked about. But I really need, like right now, I'm all in and I've invested a lot of money into trying to make this business work. Would this work for me and how? What would you say to them?
Yes, and yes. So this is what I love about blogging. This is what I love about having this online home base because you can build a business based on anything that you love doing. So if you're a practice owner right now, you create a blog, you learn search engine optimization, you grow massive traffic. That's what most of us need is we need more eyeballs and we need more of the right eyeballs.
Right.
And as you create more eyeballs, yes, more people coming into clinic, but then also what are other ways that you can serve them through your online home base? Maybe it is a membership, maybe it is a course, maybe it is a program, maybe it is products, maybe it is other affiliate things that you're recommending to them that would serve them. And there's just so many different ways that you can provide value and increase additional streams of income. So
Yeah.
even kind of going back to that discussion of like, finding what you really love to do and what feels authentic to you, I think this is why I always come back to blogging because it's this online home base and you get to build on it whatever you want. You could build a business where it's really focused on a practice. You could build a business completely passive and you don't talk to anyone. You could build a business even where you are getting media mentions and getting big gigs because you are known in your space and you have a lot of traffic, and so you're able to work with big businesses and brands and make a lot of money. So there's just so many different things that you can do, but I think the biggest take home message I have is it really doesn't matter what you're doing or what you want to do. A blog only makes things better because it drives more traffic and creates passive income where you're not always having to trade time for money and more streams of income.
Yeah. I obviously 100% agree with you. 150% agree with you. Um, this past weekend, I just hosted some Platinum Mastermind members here. This is our seventh retreat that we've done specifically on traffic. And for all of you that are listening, traffic is like when in doubt of what to do, go build your traffic. Like that's really it, right? And the beautiful thing is that traffic, once upon a time, traffic is what you needed in order to grow your business. But today, traffic can actually be the business. Okay. And so that's and really what Katie is explaining here is basically combinations of both, right? Traffic can actually be your business. Okay. You focus on serving a group of people. You're focusing on building content for those people that can benefit them. That content is free, but on that platform where you are giving this content, you are integrating courses, products, ebooks, affiliate products, and also if your traffic becomes really, really good, you're getting ad revenue as well, right? So that's where traffic actually can be the business. Okay, but in many of our cases where we have a business, whether it's online or a brick and mortar business, traffic is what builds the business. Okay. So what is the common denominator in all this? You want to go online? You want to stay offline? You don't want to even have a course. What's the one thing that you need? You just need traffic. And to me, that's why I think your methods are just so powerful with what you're having people do with blogging. So talk about what you have coming up, because I know that you're going to do a new class on this, and I'm really excited. I actually am going to sign up for it, and I want you to tell the people what this is going to be about.
Sure. So I am doing a free webinar just right around the corner. It's going to be on Monday, May 19th, 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and it's going to be called Make Money Blogging. And in this 1 hour together, we are going to dive deep. We're going to look at the numbers. I'm going to peel back the curtain on my blog business of how much money it makes, all of the things, and I'll show you guys how a blog actually makes money, but also how you can do it too. Sharing my framework of how to get started. So when you leave the webinar, you're okay, yep, checklist, ready to rock and roll. Let's do this, because there are so many different ways that we can make money blogging. You just have to know what's possible, what do you need to do, and get that skill set to do it. So to register, you can go to katiedodd.com. That's my name. It's my Linktree page, katiedodd.com. It's the first link, and I'll make sure that you have it, Greg, to put in the show notes. But
Okay,
I'm very excited for
awesome.
that webinar.
Okay, before we finish, can I ask you one more question? AI, AI and blogging.
Mm.
Where does AI fall into? Is AI making it harder to get your blog going? Is AI making it easier to be able to create more blog content? Give me Katie Dodd's view of what AI is doing right now for the blogosphere.
And that is a great question because, I've been blogging since 2019, and I will tell you, almost every single year, I see all of these articles that say blogging is dead. This is replacing blogging. Blogging's going away. And then what happens is people who either have blogs or are starting blogs start freaking out. But the thing I always laugh about that is when you see these articles about how blogging's dead, those articles are created so you will click on them and they get traffic and they make money. So clearly blogging's working because they're making money by telling you it's not working. But anyways,
They're
so
telling you
I
blogging is dead through a blog.
yeah, making
That's
money.
funny. That's
It
funny.
is. So anyways, I've heard this conversation a lot. Like, oh my gosh, Katie, is AI going to take away blogging? And the short answer is no. You asked the question, is it making it easier or harder? I actually think that AI is an incredibly useful tool if we know how to leverage it. And in most ways, AI is actually making life easier as a blogger. Now, I will say when it comes to creating the content, I still recommend human generated content that we put out there. I am never an advocate of using AI to create spam content and creating a website based on spam. People
Mm,
get more sophisticated that they are picking up on spammy websites. So examples of that, the high-end ad network that I work with, and that's why when people go to the website, I make money through ads. The company's called Mediavine. Mediavine has started removing people from their program if they're able to detect that it's too AI heavy. So I
mm,
think that as we go on, tools will get more sophisticated to identify what is completely AI generated and more like spammy content, and they're getting rid of that stuff. And
mm.
Google's getting more sophisticated. So for those reasons, I'm like, gosh, you know, don't create spammy content. Don't just use AI to create your content. But AI is a really cool tool that can help you with so many other things, from
Right.
idea generation to creating outlines to helping to make sure that your content looks good, to help with your email marketing, to help with your social media. So there's so many tools and things that AI can help with. But I absolutely don't think that it is going to make blogging go away. Blogging is here to stay. It's just
Yeah.
with everything in business, things always change.
Right.
And
Right.
instead of just resisting, saying, no, this isn't going to work, we just have to continue to evolve and adapt. And as a blogger, I am grateful for AI because there's a lot of ways it makes my life pretty darn easy. It's amazing what I could do just talking to Chat GPT in my car. So,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so
That's
it's a
awesome.
helpful
That's awesome.
tool to leverage. But blogging's not going anywhere. It is a way that we can provide massive value to people. And there's this whole segment that's coming around with AI SEO. And
Okay.
so, for example, and I'm being mindful of time, but for example, when we Google things, oftentimes there's an AI version up top. But when you click on it, there's little hyperlinks, and we can get our websites hyperlinked. So that way it's almost like
Mm,
through AI, we're actually able to go to the cream of the crop, like rise to the top where people see our content earlier. So
right.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So if with the webinar, the masterclass is going to be May 19th. It's going to be at what time?
5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock
Okay.
Eastern time. I'm trying to make sure everyone can get off work for our people working full time if
Okay,
you're on the
perfect.
continental US.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. How to make money blogging. It is that clear, that simple. It'll be, if you go to katiedodd.com, you could sign up. If you look in the show notes, you'll see a link as well. Katie, thank you as always. I think I got you out of here in time. Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for always bringing value to the SSHC community. I appreciate you.